Welcome back to the Anxious Tradeswoman podcast, where I, your host, Louise Azzopardi, share what I've learned through the years, through the tears, so you don't have to. This is episode 32, Just Keep Swimming Goals. This episode is proudly supported by the Talkin app, and I will talk more about them later. So just keep swimming goals. I literally, I hope everyone has seen Finding Nemo. It is a classic, but Dory is like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. All right. So no matter where you are in life, if you're like got your stretch goals and you're smashing it, you've done your research season and you've gone through that lost period, and we're achieving big things. Having these just keep swimming goals in the back of our mind. And also if we are like feeling like we're drowning in whatever situation we're in, whether it's family, work, health, having these just keep swimming goals really mainly just stop you from going backwards. Now, these are something I don't think I created it, but I really use them a lot. I don't remember where I got it from or anything, but this is something that I really use in a period of my life where I was trying to work out this whole business thing. The contract that I had that was financially supplying me was turning to shit. My grandmother was on her deathbed, and so was my father-in-law and a friend. And then in the space of less than 2 months, my friend, my father-in-law, and my grandmother passed away. The contract ended, and I had the most amount of clients within my business that I'd ever had. So it was really just like all of the things all at once kind of thing. So I started doing these things that would just keep me where I am. I just didn't want to go backwards. I just wanted to keep swimming. I didn't want to swim fast. I just didn't want to go backwards. I just didn't want to get blown around by the current. I wanted to just stay stay where you are is like, I don't know, mixed feelings about that. But I just didn't want to go backwards. Whatever way I was going, it was not backwards. So these just keep swimming goals, they are just these bare minimum things. Like, as simple as turn up to work at least 4 or 5 days. You know, if you're going through something that's really, really draining on you, getting out of bed can be the hardest thing. If you're working, then getting to work. When I had that episode of a fair few people passing away, that was at the beginning of 2022, so a couple of years ago. And then at the end of last year, I had a bit of a depressive episode where I was not okay for about a month. And these just keep swimming goals kind of thing, I wasn't even doing them. But for me, in those times, there were a few things that I just set that they were not non-negotiable, that I was just doing to keep me going. Getting out of bed, eating my meals, getting some sunshine, whether it's just literally having a nap in the sun because that's all I had energy for, showering. And for my business, it was just to keep my clients updated. Wasn't to grow, market. The paying clients that I had, they just needed to be updated on what was happening. And for me, it was literally saying, no sessions for the next month, I'll email you in a month. And then unfortunately, I at the period in 2022, it was just that month was about to be up and I was ready to get back, and then my grandmother passed. So then I put everything on hold for, I think it was only another 2 weeks, or I don't know, it worked out that I don't think it was quite a month, but my thing, they just needed to be updated. They just needed to know what was going on, They weren't waiting for anything. They weren't like, why isn't Louise coming to this phone call? They knew what was going on. That was the goal. And then the goal was to get out of bed, to shower, to eat, to get some sunshine. Having these in the back of our mind can really help, or implementing them when we are in these kind of darker times. It's a good foundation to then step up off. They can help us. They make it easier to step up out of the situation. If we have a strong floor, we can get up. When we're eating, when we're, sleeping, then getting out of bed. Sleeping is one of the, make sure you do that. Having these Just Keep Swimming goals, they're kind of your bare minimum ones that I like to have, that you're consciously aware of. And sometimes they do seem like a stretch goal depending on what kind of mental or physical state you might be in. Then you can have it like upper level. So you've got like your bare minimum Just Keep Swimming goals. And then you have your kind of comfort. I don't know. I actually don't even have a name for this. But then it's kind of like I like to have a bare minimum stretch kind of goal I really need to think of a name for this. So for example, for my business, I do marketing. A lot of listeners would have found me on social media, right? So let's use my social media. My social media is part of my business, and I have a goal, like my bare minimum goal for my business, to keep me moving forward. So not a just keep swimming, not go backwards, but just keep moving forward, is to be honest, I didn't do this last week, but anyway, it will be coming into play in the following weeks when the first episode of this podcast comes out. My bare minimum marketing goal is to have a post or a reel about my podcast on a Tuesday when it comes out, and a long email and a post on Friday. That's it. And then, with the podcast, it's also an email as well. That's my bare minimum. And if I want to, then I can add to that. But if I'm not in that deep, dark place of the biggest thing I need to do is get out of bed, like my bare minimum, no matter how busy I am, it is a non-negotiable that I do my podcast posting, an email on a Tuesday, and my long post and whatever on a Friday. And then, obviously, if you follow me, I post more than that. I do stories, I do other reels, I do quick little snippets here and there, post about life. But say if you went back to November, December last year in 2023 and you look at what I was posting, there was a few times where I even missed my Tuesday post about the podcast because I was really in the Just Keep Swimming goals. And then I stepped back into the bare minimum working goals. And then now this year, I'm ready to go to my stretch goals. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry you guys had to listen to me working out what the hell was going on. So we've got, in this package, we've got 3 levels of goals. We've got our Just Keep Swimming, don't go backwards. We got our bare minimum moving forward. And then we have our stretch. And I like to have all of these kind of in mind. So then we can, when we're setting a goal and we're doing the stretch and whatever, it's good to achieve a goal in 1 year, but it's possible for you to do it in 3. That might be your bare minimum working towards the goal. But then your stretch goal, you can get it done in a year. And, family life might be amazing, workplace is amazing, your head's clear, your health's good. So then you get that stretch goal, but your health might start to turn to shit or just not be 100%. So you're like, okay, let's do our moving forward, bare minimum moving forward kind of goal because, this part of our life needs more attention, but we still have energy to move forward. We don't have 110% energy. So let's step it back a bit. And then it might be health, family, work might be going to crap. So then we go back to those Just Keep Swimming goals. And I find having these in place actually reduces a lot of shame from not achieving those stretch goals. If the stretch goal is the only goal that we have, then sometimes when these external factors impact us and our priorities change, that goal is not our priority. Might not even be in our top 10 if we've got a health issue personally, or a physical health, mental health, or a loved one that we're caring for. That goal might not even be on our radar. So then if we can step back into this middle level of just keep swimming kind of thing, it can actually fulfill us. It reminds us that there is life outside of this, whatever is happening. It's just enough. You just need a little bit of energy for it. It's not too overwhelming, but it keeps you going. And then if, say, you don't keep going, something else happens, it's just too much, then you go to your just keep swimming goals. As someone who is like a recovering perfectionist who's burnt themselves out multiple times, so last year my depressive episode was mainly caused by, but it was one of those things where there was just like a perfect storm. I decided to go off my antidepressants. My husband was having lots of seizures. I planned my wedding, which was amazing, but I did challenge a lot of typical things that usually happen in my family. So I had to stand up for myself a bit more with that. And then my husband went in for brain surgery. And it just led to this where I had to go into the just keep swimming goals. And then I spent some time in the bare minimum goals. And now I'm ready to go back to the stretch goals. When you're recovering from burnout, it's good to go through these 3 levels. When you have family stuff, health stuff going on, it's good to go through these 3 levels. There's nothing wrong. There's no right or wrong way. I would just like for you to keep moving forward, moving sideways. We just want to avoid moving backwards. And if you have moved backwards, that is also fine. That is also fine. If you feel like you need help to just stop going backwards, that is also fine. That is also fine. Okay, before I just be loving on you if you're going through a hard time, because I do that. I can tend to do that. I'm not drunk, I swear. But if you do catch me drunk, I will be doing that. But anyway, the sponsor, the sponsor for this podcast episode is the Talkin app. So the Talkin app is an app currently just for the mining industry, but it is going to expand into other industries, and it is all about the equipment that people use to get access to that information. It is for owners, operators, and maintenance professionals. So if you've got any trouble fault finding, if you can't find a manual, if you want to know best way to operate something, or you're having trouble with something, it's literally like Facebook for specific machines. Each machine has their own page, and you can look up whatever other people have been finding, discovering, having trouble with that machine. So I do have a link in the description box of this podcast episode, and if you could download the app through that link, it will support the podcast in the process, and you guys will be getting access to amazing information. On that note, if you would like any one-on-one support and you think I am the coach for you, please send me a message on Louise as a Party Coaching on Instagram. You can join the Facebook community, Tradeswomen Owning Their Power. I would love to support you in whatever way you need right now. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you in the next episode.